Hi there, this is Steve Hackett. You're listening to Mystery Tour.
How are things going in these times of sanitary emergency in the UK?
Well, personally, I'm very busy doing lots of recording. I released my book, which is also in Italian.
Yeah.
And I'm doing lots of recording projects right now, working on lots of albums and releases, and it's one of the busiest times I've ever been for recording.
Yeah.
So indoor work is very important at the moment, whilst outdoor work is very challenged.
In your albums, you always connect musicians from all over the world. Do you think nowadays technology is somehow a bliss, since it allows you to work even during a lockdown period?
Yes. For instance, I've been working with one guy from Armenia and one guy from Azerbaijan, and everyone is sending me their stuff. So it's the way we work together. Musicians, the way they work together is I find is usually at a distance at the moment. Even regular bands can't meet up properly. So it's a very good way of working. It gives everyone their space and time to think about what they're going to contribute, and they only send it to me when they're ready.
A Genesis in My Bed is finally available. Tell us something about the genesis of the idea of an autobiography.
Well, I was... my wife Jo was encouraging me to write something. 15 years ago, we were talking about this, and then I think really in the last 2 years, most of the effort was put into it. I did a lot of rewriting. It was a long process, but a very enjoyable one. Nice to visit all those times and those places and people again, in memory, and also the time dating right back to before rock and roll existed. All of that, I was still involved with music, even as a small child. So it's my recollections of post-war London.
How was to mentally re-experience your past while writing the book?
Well, I felt that I had to be honest and say to people that it's been a very rich, colorful life. But I also wanted to be able to talk about my mistakes and not just my triumphs as well. So I tried to be honest about the times when I was sad or the times when I was an idiot, as well as the times when I was gloriously happy, like with my wife Jo.
What shall the fans expect of, let's say, unexpected in the book?
Well, I think there are many things that are unexpected that I've never really talked about in interviews. I've been more honest and candid with this. But it's only part of what I talk about. Normally in interviews I just talk about music, but this is much more in-depth, and it's all about me and my experiences and early life and later life. There are many things that I think people will be maybe shocked to hear about, but there are also many questions about Genesis that I've answered honestly and positively.
I'm watching the Italian edition by Rizzoli Lizard Publishing, and it's amazing. Also a lot of unseen pictures.
Yes, that's right, yes, of the past, and pictures when I was a child or just a few years ago. It's a backstage view in the fullest sense.
Last year we talked about At the Edge of Light.
Yes.
Are you now working on a new solo album?
Well, I've been working on 3 different projects as regards albums, and so I've been working on. There's a live album. There's an acoustic stroke orchestral one, and there's also a rock album. And of course, they all owe something to each other. These 3 different recording projects are all similar to each other in some ways. I think there's an orchestral thread that runs through much of it, and the influence of classical music. Because the use of classical music and rock has been a crusade for me for quite some time. The influence of the great masters, a chance to paint in oils at the same time as take all this kind of juvenile stuff and stick it all together. So the energy of youth and the experience of the whole of history has gone into the mixture of styles that I get involved with.
Now, the usual question, any recent contact with the guys from Genesis? Did you talk with them after the release of the book?
No, I haven't heard anything from them since the book, but I think the last person I spoke to was Peter Gabriel. I saw him a while back, and it's probably less than a year, but I saw him at something and at a function, and it was always great to see him. Of course, always nice. He's such a sweet guy, and all his success is very deserving, I think.
Which final message would you give to the Italian fans, and an invitation to buy the book, since we have an Italian translation as well?
Well, let's put it this way: Italy is mentioned in the book because Italy has been very important to me, and I think all of the members of Genesis. That the following from Italy has been very loyal, and there's been an understanding, I think, at root of why we do what we do. And of course, it's not just happy memories from the early days; it's right up to the present day, and so many people that I know, and I'm missing them all because I want to be able to visit them. But they're all in my heart and in my memory, and they are mentioned in the pages of the book.
So you still feel this sensation when coming to Italy?
Yes, Italy is an incredibly special place, as you probably know, and in many ways I feel more Italian than British. It's a beautiful country. It's such a celebration of all the wonderful things. If ever I have to go to Italy to work, I'm always fascinated by how everything operates. There's something about the spirit of Italy which is eternally. I'm eternally grateful for it. I feel more alive in Italy. That's just the way it is. I feel like there's an understanding. There's a kind of telepathy and a greeting and something very very special. I feel a special closeness with the Italian people. So many memories. It's impossible to quantify that, but it's like a whole city in my heart. You know what I mean? It's just an incredible thing, an incredible place. In so many ways, and historically and architecturally, and the whole celebration of all of that, the ancient world and the modern world all together in this extraordinary way that affects the arts. I mean, I remember years ago doing an acoustic show in Todi, and it was part of a festival, it was very, very interesting. And the festival was called The Art of Dreaming. And it was very, very beautifully done, the whole thing. And in a way, that captures Italy for me. It really is the art of dreaming, as applied to a whole country. It's something fantastic. And I always get inspired when I think of Italy.
I remember you doing the acoustic show here in my hometown as well, in Brescia, and it was amazing.
Well, good. Yeah, I'm glad you like that. I've done an acoustic orchestral album, and there are at least 2 tracks on it which are dedicated to Italy. I've done more than one thing. There's the Casa del Fauno, and there is also a Scarlatti piece, a Scarlatti sonata I've played. One is Baroque and one is more modern, but in a way I think they capture the spirit of Italy, the very ornate quality of the architecture and the celebration of life. Of course, the Casa del Fauno and Pompeii, all of that. It's something I've really written with Roger King, who did a wonderful orchestral introduction to this particular tune, which has my brother on, and my brother John on flute, and Rob Townsend on flute, and Roger King, and it's in a way it's a kind of elegiac lullaby, a celebration of a beautiful place that I always felt drawn to. I always loved Pompeii, such an extraordinary thing, and such a tragedy for somewhere that was such an achievement of the ancient world.